Hey guys, this is Gatsby with Tape, and today you join me for part 2 of my turn 14 of Collaborative Warfare, or episode 13 basically. And today we start by striking into the heartland of the evil democratic Kerbal's Republic of Clathu, and we are doing it with our newest ship. Actually, it's not our newest ship, I've been designing more, but this is my Corvette, the TSS Illustrious. Yes, that's what it'll be named after this mission, because I kind of forgot to name it before the mission, but whatever. Anyway, so we're just gonna... Annoyingly, my only real base that's good for this is Bit Sandy. Well, I mean, my base, it's mine and Agon Archer's. You can see Agon Archer's defended it incredibly well with an Orb Weaver, a weird little thing on the roof that flies, and then that giant, massive whatever just over there. Don't know why I'm pointing, you can't see me, hopefully. But anyway, yeah, so... This was a bit difficult getting it out there, because it's quite hilly, but I think if you could do this with a boat, then I think you deserve it, and I think just, yeah, hopefully at some point I'll have something a little closer to the ocean. I mean, I do keep getting them, and then they keep disappearing. I actually do have some good ocean bases, they're just really far away, and this doesn't have the range, since I will have to be crossing the Kerbal Atlantic, as Twitchy calls it, which I think is actually quite a good name. Anyway, yeah, so this is actually in 4 times time accelerate. Yes, this took quite a while, and I will be cutting through bits. I did just cut through a little bit earlier. But yeah, it handles it relatively well, except for all this tipping. Anyway, yeah, cutting ahead once again, just to drifting a bit. I had a little bit of fun driving this boat. Not as nice as the tank that will be in it later. That is rather good for all terrain, because it's, you know, a tank. But yes, this is equipped for attacking and defending the KSC. I may talk about that a little more, because it's quite a long transit, what I do cut through most of, but still. Anyway, so yeah, up this hill was a little difficult, and then you could see I do get to the top, but I should have gone a little bit to the right, because there's a really nice hill to go down over there, but instead I go for the really steep slope, and kind of slide down pretty fast, and I have this pretty serious ridge at the bottom. I really don't want to just ramp up, because this is a boat. Well, no, it's a ship. It's a glorious ship. The TSS Illustrious. Not entirely sure what TSS stands for. I know one of the S's stands for ship, and one of the T, well, the T stands for tape. Don't know what the other S stands for, but you can't just call it TS. I mean, Tape's Super Ship Illustrious. I want her to be like USS, because I'm America, and Penguin is the Nazis. Anyway, yeah, so I did a bit of a power slide there. It was much cooler while I was doing it, but when you watch it, it's just kind of drifts slowly up the hill, and then it's fine. Anyway, we're just going to go and put this down on water and give it a quick save, as I don't want to have to do that again if it crashes. But then we pretty much just got a really long drive, well, long sail, really, or long hover, I guess. We're technically flying. But yeah, I pretty much just, it was pretty easy getting over there. I just pointed it in the right direction and switched on the engines and left it for about an hour or something. I think it was less than an hour. It's pretty quick. It's only about 300 kilometers away. But yeah. Anyway, so let's put down and have ourselves a quick save and a bit of a nap. Yeah, just slam ourselves into the ocean by turning off the hover things. I don't bother with action groups for these things, so you just don't need them. I think it does have action groups, but you can just control it without it. Anyway, so here we are about to take off again. I've actually fired up the engines while still in the water, which is probably dumb. I wanted to see if I can move. There are some air intakes on the bottom, which I shouldn't really have put on, because I was hoping I could let it float, because air-to-air missiles will attack stuff that's hovering, but they won't attack stuff that's actually on the water, but I didn't put enough air intakes on, so it can't actually float properly. But anyway, we are going to get underway. We're heading for the KSC Island airstrip, because base boss doesn't work with the KSC, but we will be attacking the KSC. Yes, there is a Penguin Poseidon there we'll need to destroy. There's, the freaking, what is it, the Weeble Dalek, the giant twitchy turret, and some remnants of the Boy George, which shouldn't be too much of a problem. I think it's been mostly destroyed. Anyway, we are underway, and you can see kind of the ship quite well now, although at least only really from the back. I've actually changed up the armament quite a bit. I've halved the amount of sidewinders it carries, because, well, parts, and because I don't really need them. And I've changed out, I took off 2 of the cruise missiles and replaced them with 5 intercept missiles. It was originally 4, but I updated it just before this because, yeah, you can see there's flares all over it just to give it a tiny bit of an edge. Its main battle gun is that howitzer on the front of the bridge. Yes, it has a proper bridge I built-ish. Proper-ish, not I did build it. I didn't build it-ish. Anyway, and then the flak cannon for air defense, and for, I don't know, cleaning up things. And it has some Vulcans as well, for missile defense, shooting down smaller boats that may be attacking it from the side, and just generally, yeah. It's not, obviously, I mean, the way I name my ships, the way I class my ships, I have a corvette, a destroyer, and a cruiser. And I just pretty much do that based on size. I know Corvette is pretty much just for escort stuff. Oh, and here I'm just quick saving. Basically, I do this every 100 kilometers, really. But yeah, the Corvette is obviously my smallest one. Corvettes and destroyers are usually just used for escorting aircraft carriers, but I don't have one right now, and this is my most reliable ship, even though it's my smallest right now, so I thought I'd just send it out. I do have a destroyer, that's got a similar armament. Oh yeah, I keep getting those warnings when I time warp. Anyway, it's got a similar armament, but its main gun is a tank cannon, so I have better swivel, and my cruiser is something special. Its battle gun is 3 howitzers attached to this plate on top of a swiveling infernal robotics gear. Yeah, it's got 3 guns, and it can do 360, and it has like a shit ton of guns, and I could put infinite missiles on it, but I probably won't. So yeah, if I ever have to battle ships, the cruiser will just basically lay waste to anything. But anyway, we'll see that in a bit. Today we've got to focus on the mission at hand. There's a lot of this kind of sailing over the ocean, but don't worry, I cut it out because it did take quite a while. But it was fine. I was just watching off topic, the Achievement Hunter podcast, which is actually it's really weird. It had the Funhouse people on it. And then, went and made lunch and, came back and I was almost there, which was pretty good. But I do put down every 100 kilometers, just a quick save, just because if it crashes, I don't want to have to sit there for another 40 minutes. Anyway, talking of cutting ahead, where am I now? Yeah, this is just after a quick save, I guess. Yeah, this is what I was saying. I'm not entirely sure where I am now. Somewhere in the ocean, I guess. This is a bit of a random piece of footage, but yeah, I guess this is... Oh, yeah, this is when I'm just coming up on the island. You can see some things have just popped up there, and that's our first sight of... our first radar sighting of the evil Twitchy, his KSC island, which we have stopped heading for now, because now we are gunning right for the Poseidon, sat right at... the KSC. Our goal today is to at least take out the Poseidon so that Agonarch can swoop in and take the KSC. That is our goal, and that is what we shall be doing. I'm going to take out as many defenses as possible so he can fly in as easily as possible and he can defend it. And then Penguin won't be able to help Twitchy that much because he can't destroy Agonarch's defenses, and Twitchy will have a hard time taking this back, because I'm sure Agonarch, looking at Bit Sandy, how well that's defended, will defend the hell out of this. And there will also be my Corvette there. Which will be just, yeah. And then I'm hoping Agonarch will storm up the shores of the KSE continent and take a bunch more stuff. Anyway, so here we are. This is definitely a joint operation, because I've already taken the maximum amount of bases I can. So the Poseidon, we're going to shell this, or more accurately, we're going to hit it with cruise missiles, but I think this is more like long-range shelling, really. So we're sat nicely in the ocean. I'm just going to make sure I'm actually on the ocean and not hovering, so... it doesn't glitch out. But I really want this to die because it's got a lot of missiles on it, so I'm going to fire 5 cruise missiles at it. There they go in quick succession, and we're going to follow them in. Yes, we're going to watch these fly in, destroy the Poseidon, hopefully. I've already destroyed a Poseidon today. I've destroyed a Poseidon Mark II, the submarine, and now I'm going to hopefully destroy this Poseidon Mark I. This is what is stopping Agonarch from striking into the heartland, so I will do it myself, and then he will fly in, and we will tear Twitchy apart. He cannot storm across my lands. He cannot take my bases and kill my Kerbals and destroy my equipment without some serious consequences, and these are the serious consequences. We're gonna just go in there, and we're gonna pull Kim Jong-il, no, shit, Twit John E out, and we're going to be like, stop, and he's going to be like, no, and then we're going to be like, okay, well, I can't shoot you because you're unarmed and we have a Geneva Convention, but we're going to be pretty mad at him. Anyway, so the cruise missiles are cruising in. Doesn't look like it's returning fire. Not sure what that's about, because I know later in the episode stuff does return fire at the Poseidon. I think it might be a scan interval thing. That's often what's been my problem while testing cruise missiles, is you have to get the scan interval right for it to actually fire at them. Anyway, we're going in, and it slams right into the middle, well, right into the front of the Oh no, it does look like right in the middle of the deck, and it destroys it. Anyway, we have no time to lose. I actually lost the footage. Didn't lost the footage. I lost feed because it switched to another turret, so I couldn't really see what happened. But basically, it's destroyed. And now we're firing 5 more cruise missiles at the Weeble Dalek, the big, giant, deadly, evil turret with loads of armor, which hopefully isn't that good. It's probably not as good as my armor on my turrets. They're basically invincible. Hence Penguin having to carpet bomb the hell out of it. But anyway, yeah, they're cruising in nicely, and it looks like we've got a pretty good angle. This is a pretty good angle for attack. Obviously, the Poseidon's pretty much out in the open, but you can see that there is a gap between the buildings where the Weeble Dalek is, and I think the Boy George is in a pretty good position. Hopefully, I'm not really sure about the condition of the Boy George. I think it has guns, but hopefully we'll be able to get in safely and fire off some Hellfires, because we have a hell of a lot of Hellfires. Yes, we will rain down Hellfire and brimstone and stuff on them, and we will take this for our own. The KSC, the heart of the Kerbal lands, something like that. Anyway, we're about to take some fire from this Weeble Dalek pretty soon. I don't think... Yeah, there we go. Now it started firing. And it looks like it's missing. But on the way in, it does take down, I think, about 3 of our cruise missiles, which is pretty impressive. These defenses are doing quite well, but after this one is destroyed, and another one is destroyed, another one slams through the armor, absolutely obliterating it. You can see in that tiny flash, it is just destroyed, and there's hardly anything left. Yeah, and we also set some fire to the KSC, so that looks pretty awesome. Anyway, it is time to move in. We have taken out the main defenses, and now there is simply the Boy George. Hopefully that is damaged enough that it will not be too much of a problem. There is also a ship down there, which is one of Agonarch's crew that has been held prisoner for a very long time. Penguin was also assisting holding prisoner, even though they apparently aren't allowed to have a conflict with each other. Penguin clearly has no problem with, holding Agonarch's pilots prisoners, because he's awful, just terrible, yeah. Anyway, bit of a long sail in, and as I'm moving up, I do take out my flak cannon for a bit of a spin to just fire at this. I know a flak cannon isn't really for ground attack, but it's my only thing with real good swivel, except maybe the Vulcans, but whatever. So yeah, we're just clearing debris, basically, because it's quite laggy. So I was like, I better clear some debris, and we get some good explosions. You can see we're probably just taking out metal. I think there was a big chunk of it left. But anyway, now we are positioned off the coast of KSC, and it is time to take out the last defense. This last, it's basically nothing. This should be easy. Annoyingly, the Hellfires, or at least I thought, can only be fired by right-clicking on them, and this is the 64-bit, and it's very laggy, so it's actually quite hard to fire them. But it turns out you actually can fire them with action groups, which I find out later. But anyway, let's just fire off a few of these missiles. I think a couple should probably do. I mean, it's quite hard to click on them, so yeah. I mean, it's just like some random thing. There we go. That will... Oh, it is putting up fire. It does have a pretty serious amount of guns on it, actually. That's a pretty serious streak of fire, but surely it won't be able to stop the missiles. I mean, things aren't that great at taking out missiles. I mean, there are 2 of them, so it'll be fine. But as it comes in, we start to realize that it has some serious firepower still on it. It may have no missiles, and it may only have its smaller guns, but in fact it does have quite a serious punch to it, and it does take out that missile, and it actually in fact takes out this next missile, which is pretty worrying. It made pretty light work of that. So back at the Corvette, manually firing missiles, even though I didn't have to. I'm going to fire a few more this time, because it shall not defeat me. It is a wounded piece of nothing. I am in a Corvette. I am in the TSS Illustrious. Technically the flagship of my navy right now, because it's the only thing I have, even though it's just a Corvette. Anyway, there's 3 away, and I'm having serious trouble around this freaking thing. Anyway, anyway, let's see them fall in. And, yeah, I'm still trying to do that, but it's not working. But I think about now, I do figure out that I can fire Hellfires with action groups, which kind of pissed me off, because I wasted a bunch of missiles there. Anyway, so we're just going to fire loads, because I think in total it takes out 7 Hellfire missiles, including all of the ones it's taken out. It takes out both of these. That's 5. And I think it takes out 2 of these. Yes, I thought this was basically just ruined and just had nothing left on it. But yeah, it takes out 7 Hellfire missiles. The Boy George is a hell of a craft, I have to say. And I'm going to fire this one as well, because I want a high angle one as well, just to finish it off. It is laying... I think it probably takes out more than 7. It just lays waste to so many missiles. You can see more and more exploding, couple there. But finally, after many explosions, one finally finds its mark and puts an end to the Boy George, which is rather good. Now the KSC is undefended, and it will be no problem for Aganoch to swoop in, land with a full weapons payload, put down a flag, hopefully put down some defenses, and then carry on, hopefully up the coast. I'm hoping that it'll sweep up the east coast and just take out like a bunch of bases, and we'll start to have a serious assault on his eastern seaboard, because that's pretty important if we're going to defeat Twitchy. We've done some pretty good work today, but it is not over yet. We have other things to do, but for now, let's put our ship, our illustrious, in a better position after maybe firing a few howitzer shells at the remains of the Poseidon, because, well, I mean, it's just so many parts. I want to get rid of it, and yeah, I could delete them in the pod, or maybe they'll be deleted by themselves, but it's quite fun just to test out the guns, and here's me just testing out some of the Vulcans, which are actually very effective, as we saw from the Boy George. But yeah, it's all tearing that apart, and yeah, this is what is left of the Boy George. It did have a ton of guns on it, but not anymore. It's over. Fought very, very bravely. I have a lot of respect for that. Anyway, just put this on guard mode, and now I'm going to set up these missile pods for defense more properly. I mean, this should be able to defend anything. It has Hellfire missiles for ground/sea assault, and many an air-to-air missile for taking out anything else. And obviously, just a shit ton of guns. But yeah, and quickly rename this to TSS Illustrious Tape Corvette. Yes, this a ship deserves a name, and this is already had an illustrious career. Anyway, so what is next today? Well, Twitchy still holds a base right in the heartland of our land. Right in the heart of our land. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, so we are sending our tank in to go and fetch her back. This is Lake Dermal. You may be thinking, wait, why aren't you going to fetch the KSC-2 back? Well, I don't need a KSC-2 anymore. I'm going to get my own KSC. But, well, the actual reason is, I guess, more that the KSC-2 borders my territory, whereas Lake Dermal is in the middle of my territory, and I don't want him having... I don't want the evil enemy alliance having a base right in the middle of my territory from where they can launch easy helicopter strikes and tanks and stuff. As you can see, my tank is just moving along rather finely. This is actually the AA version of this tank. The normal one obviously has a tank cannon instead of a flat cannon, and it has Hellfire missiles instead of Sidewinder missiles, and it has chain guns instead of 50 caliber turrets. That's just but I need this for also defending stuff, so it is set up for air defense, which is pretty useful. Mobile turret, I guess. But yeah, this is the Panther Mark 1 AA, the anti-air. But yeah, also my tanks are called they're part of the Panther Division. Just let you figure out what that might mean. No, it's not the Panzer Division, it's the Panther Division. Anyway, yeah, you can see it's actually handling quite well. I am being a little reckless and jumping it over hills, because it's a lot of fun, actually. This is quite a long thing, and it is using air thrusters, because, well, you might as well. I mean, yeah. It could work. It would work just as well with jet engines. This just gives me kind of finer control, really. I use the air thrusters on my Corvette and stuff, on all my boats for control, because they have a lot of thrust and they're good for turning stuff, and I also use them for control on this. But I thought they were just quite good for power. I mean, you saw Aganoch's giant carrier thing in space, but basically, yeah, they are a bit OP, but, I mean, the thing is, I couldn't, yes, this technically has, infinite range, but, I couldn't do that because I have to hold down H, so I think that's the real constraint, is that, I couldn't, go from here to the KSC, because I literally can't hold down H for that long. My hand would seize up. Although, on my new mechanical keyboard, it wouldn't be so bad. Yeah, I bought a mechanical keyboard. It's really expensive. Anyway, yeah, we almost flip our tank a bit there, but it's fine, because it's just absolute ballin'. So yeah, it's a pretty hardy tank. It's got some. It's my light tank, actually. That's because I do have a much bigger tank in the works, but this is my light tank with relatively light armor. The front has double thickness armor for taking on incoming blasts. It can withstand howitzer blasts and stuff. It's pretty hardy, but it's mostly for light, quick maneuvering. So I guess Panzer wouldn't be exactly what it was. I don't know. Wait, what was it? Anyway, it doesn't matter because it's not a Panzer, because I'm not a Nazi. Anyway, yeah, we're coming up on Lake Dermal now. It was actually quite a short thing. I have sped this up, obviously, but I did very much enjoy this after the just after the stressful turn I had. It was quite serene, just moving over here, and there's mountains off to the side. Didn't get much of a look at them. I was mostly focusing on not crashing this thing. Although I think it can flip upside down and be fine, but then it's pretty much useless. Anyway, here, Lake Dermal. No defences here, which is nice, just a flag, which I will swiftly destroy. Because I can't take it down, because this is my super light tank, which doesn't carry any Kerbals. Yeah. Didn't really think about that. I was like, I'll send in my tank. And then I was like, wait, doesn't carry any Kerbals, so I can't take this base. So I will have to send in my plane to come and get this. So this tank was actually sort of pointless. I should have probably just put a turret here. But whatever, it's cool to see a tank, and it's nice to have one around. It's always good to have a tank around for doing tank stuff. Yeah, you can see the front there. It's got its special armor, it's got its front gun. It's got a couple of guns on the side, and one on the back. 50 cals. Just pretty good for shooting down missiles, I think, and just generally planes and shit. But anyway, we're going to put this off to the side as a bit of a turret. Bit of an oversight on my part, not bringing any Kerbals, but it's fine. I have a plane. Now the problem is, to put this down stably, I have to stop it and put it down on landing legs, but it's quite hard to hold this steady on a slope. So yeah, I've just got to ease it down, and yeah, there we go, nice and steady. And there we go, our tank. I'm going to set it up on guard mode. I know I've left it on team A because this technically isn't my base yet, but whatever. Anyway, so it's time to send in the HSFA Mark II. Leaving Area 51, I've recovered the Kerbal, so Penguin can have them back also, so he can't just easily take this base. That would be a bit ridiculous. Anyway, so we're going to take off. I've still got quite a bit of fuel. I probably won't be able to come back, so this will be undefended. So, I sort of imagine that might be lost, because it's like really useful for taking off like really large bombers. Like if I wanted to really, you know, drop something large or nuclear on Penguin, it would be quite good. But nuclear. People always, whenever I say nuclear, people are like, that's not how you say nuclear. Nuclear. I literally can't say it. I don't know what it is. I know I say it wrong, but I think it's just because I've always just said nuclear. Nuclear. Yeah, I overpronounce it, but I can't say it. Yeah, I am sorry. I bet that's very annoying. But just stop telling me in the comments. I don't care. It's like, oh god, when I did the V1 video, I might link it. But just go and see the V1 video. Scroll through the comments. See how many comments there are that says the V1 uses a pulse jet. Just there's at least like 30. I still get them now. I know the V1 uses a pulse jet. Stop telling me. But yeah, that was just interesting. Yeah, that was kind of annoying. Just when you're going to post a comment, just check the comments first. See if someone else has already said it. Anyway, so yeah, pretty quick flight. It was about 160 kilometers away, so a pretty quick jump. Still got quite a lot of fuel left, just coming down very steeply, but it's fine because this is a rather hardy plane. Still got a pretty decent armament, and this will probably be much safer with the Panther, actually. I wouldn't want to fight a Panther and the HSI. Though it is a little low on bullets, it still does carry 4 missiles, and is, you know, highly maneuverable, super deadly. So, you know, stay away. It's also psychic. It can see into your soul. If you come anywhere near it, it'll literally murder you. Just trying to ward people off it. Anyway, bit of a problem. It may be great, but I'm not, since I've kind of stuck it in this position where I can't really do anything. Usually I'd fire my gun to push me backwards, but there's no bullets in my gun. So I've activated this, and I'm going to very carefully turn around. Hopefully not fall off this runway, because it's quite sloped. And I could really love not to lose this plane on the runway. But yeah, it looks like it's actually just about done it. Good job, me. There we go. That's all just great. Anyway, so we can leave this plane here on guard mode, and hopefully it will defend us for the rest of time. But anyway, yeah, pretty successful turn. I had to cut it into 2 parts. We took back Area 51 and Dermal Lake. We destroyed Penguin's bomber. We destroyed his submarine that he thought couldn't be destroyed. We destroyed his tank. We struck at the KSC, destroying another one of Penguin's submarines, 2 of Twitch's defenses, and leaving it completely open for Agonarch to swoop in and take it. But that will all be next turn. So I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been Caspian with Tape. I will see you next time.